Just keep that in mind. To put your head in the sand, you need to be on your knees with your ass in the air. Look, let me get my, sorry, I'm just going to pop for a minute when I plug this in. I'm glad I plugged it in when I started. Sorry about that. Sorry. Let me go back to that slide. And if this is the attitude that we take in life, I have to call bullshit on it, okay? This is the bullshit button. You'll be seeing a lot of it in the presentation. New Age correction to ignoring the negative. Seeing the negative for what it actually is creates the ability to steel oneself against its harmful effects, and possibly even to be able to avert those effects entirely. When we see what's coming with open eyes, we can take measures against it. You know, we can protect ourselves. We can steel ourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually against the coming deluge, okay? Refusing to look at critical information, however, just because it makes you feel uncomfortable or scared, okay, this is a hallmark of right brain imbalance. You know, you're being ruled by the emotions and you don't want to feel the effect of what's really there, okay? You can feel it and then own that emotion and deal with it, or you can try to, you know, ignore it and and stay asleep and willfully choose to remain ignorant. Well, you just refuse to look at information because it makes you feel bad. You're willfully choosing to remain in a state of ignorance, ignoring what is actually there, ignoring reality, and therefore you're willfully choosing to remain unconscious. New Age deception number 2, never get angry. You know, this was always my favorite superhero growing up. I never really preferred the other superheroes too much. The Hulk was my favorite. I was like obsessed with the Hulk when I was a kid. All right? He was the big green machine. You know, green, the color that I always talk about as resonating with the heart chakra, resonating with the sacred feminine, actually. The balance point, the middle of the visible spectrum is green. The Hulk embodied one basic overarching natural law principle to me, as I really understood this character, the allegory of this character. It is the first natural law principle, which Frater X actually eloquently stated today. The first right of any being is the right to be left alone. All the Hulk ever wanted was to be left alone. And people would not leave him alone. And he only hulked up and became the monster when he would not be left alone. When people pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And finally, he exercised the sacred masculine principle of self-defense. And when he did, he cleaned house. So, the New Age movement wants to turn your inner Hulk, which is about feeling righteous anger about the inequalities, inequities, the evil, outright evil that's present in our world, and they just want to turn you into someone who's all calm about it, even though evil is running amok. So we can't let our inner Hulk be turned into just someone who's going to roll over and take whatever is thrown at them. That would be bullshit. Okay? The correction to the never get angry deception is this. While non-righteous and unchanneled anger is most certainly counterproductive to both individual development and collective efforts to bring about positive change in our world, righteous indignation, when it is channeled productively, can be a major motivation to create positive change in the world. So it's about owning the anger and channeling it and directing it into positive action in the world. That is the proper usage for the emotion of anger. Anger is not there to be expunged. You should feel anger when there's injustice. Okay? Just like Howard Beale here in the movie Network. You know, I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm going to do something to create change. Like the saying goes, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And even in the biblical allegory of Christ, You know, and you know, people give me a hard time about putting Jesus in the presentation. He's going to be in here a few times too. Okay, I understand the astro-theological allegory of the Christ figure. I get that. I could write a book on it if I wanted to. I understand that there's a possibility Jesus was not a physical historical personage. I get emails about this all the time when I talk about the message of the Christ. Okay, it's a whole different thing than the religion about Christ. But in the allegory, Jesus gets angry. He takes out the switch and whips the money changers' asses. Okay? He's feeling and owning his anger and channeling it in the world and taking the switch out if it has to be taken out. All right?